In this study, a patient with full cortical blindness could still react to another person's gaze. While in an fMRI machine, the patient was exposed to gazes directed at him and gazes directed away from him. On the face of it, neither should matter. His visual cortex couldn't perceive any sort of gaze. But the brain scan indicated that another part of his brain definitely could. The patient's amygdala, the brain area associated with figuring out whether external stimuli is a threat, showed a distinctly different activation pattern when the gaze was directed at the patient than when directed away from him. The unconscious processing abilities of the human brain are estimated at roughly 11 million pieces of information per second. Compare that to the estimate for conscious processing, about 40 pieces per second. For more on conscious versus unconscious brain processing power, check out Timothy Wilson's excellent book, Strangers to Ourselves. This is my book summary of Strangers to Ourselves by Timothy D. Wilson. My notes are informal and often contain quotes from the book, as well as my own thoughts. This summary also includes key lessons and important passages from the book. The ability to think about and plan for the future endows humans with a tremendous survival advantage, but can be a two-edged sword if our conscious decisions conflict with our non-conscious desires. There are two ways our actions lead to change at the automatic non-conscious level. The first is by providing the opportunity for our brains to infer from our behavior, non-consciously, that we are new people. It gives your mind new data and more bits of insight about your attitudes and feelings. Note: this is similar to your identity votes concept. Second, the more frequently we perform a behavior, the more automatic it becomes. One of the most enduring lessons of social psychology is that behavior change often precedes changes in attitudes and feelings. Changing our behavior to match our desired conscious perceptions of ourselves is a good way to bring about changes in the adaptive non-conscious. A simple approach to becoming better. Do good, be good. By acting in ways that are helpful and caring toward others, we will view ourselves as more helpful and caring. There is a practice effect associated with acting like the person you want to be. The more you practice it, the better you become. Small changes in behavior can lead to small changes in your self-concept. And small changes in self-concept can make the next change easier. Do the behavior first and let the feelings follow. To establish a desirable pattern of non-conscious motives, the best advice is to practice, practice, practice. Train yourself into the non-conscious mind you want. There is no direct pipeline to the adaptive non-conscious. It must be inferred by taking a careful look at cues from your own behavior and others' reactions. What matters most when it comes to making sense of our lives is that people commit to a believable narrative that corresponds reasonably well to their adaptive non-conscious. You can't keep revising your story and the reasons for why things happen without ruminating senselessly. A good self-narrative does not need to be constantly retold. All of us have the ability to act more like the person we want to be.